You're listening to the Laundromat Resource Podcast, the show by laundromat owners for laundromat owners, with your host, Jordan Berry. It's Jordan.
Hey guys, what is up? It's Jordan, the Laundromat Resource Podcast. This is show number 8, and I just need to take a second because I read a stat somewhere, I don't know where, and I don't know how legitimate it is, but I read somewhere that most podcasts don't make it past 8 episodes. And today is episode number 8 for the Laundromat Resource Podcast. And all we have to do is put one more out after this one, and we're going to be cruising right past most podcasts in terms of, success. So I'm pretty excited about it. Maybe next week we will celebrate. And I know, barring some catastrophe, there's gonna be another episode. In fact, I've already recorded the next 3 episodes, and they're killer episodes. You're gonna definitely want to tune into them. The owners that I interviewed for the next 3 episodes have insane stories. I know you're going to pull a ton of value out of them. I know I did already, and I don't want to spoil any of it for you because these owners are, they're incredible. So make sure that you're subscribed to this podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe here. We're on all the platforms for podcasts. So make sure you subscribe in whichever one that you use, because please trust me, you're not going to want to miss the next few episodes. That's for sure. And this one, you can take it or leave it. No, I'm just kidding. But hey, next week we're going to celebrate getting over the 8 episode hump. But today, this episode, we need to celebrate something else. And it's this. Officially, the Laundromat Resource Podcast has been downloaded and listened to on 6 of the 7 continents. And man, it's a crazy time where, just little podcast can be put out and be listened to all over the world, except for Antarctica. And so now my goal is somebody on Antarctica has got to need some information about laundromats, and I want to get in front of them. I'm pretty sure there's no laundromats on Antarctica. So I'm not really sure how exactly that's going to happen. But if any of you are traveling to Antarctica, do me a huge favor and go and download an episode and listen to it in Antarctica so we can knock off the entire world global domination. I will shower you with love and affection and gifts. So just kidding. But seriously, I will. So do it. In fact, go plan a trip right now to Antarctica and let's just take over the world. All right, enough celebrating and enough of that. It's time to shame you a little bit. That's right. I said shame you. And here's why, is because last week was an incredible episode. It's one of our most downloaded episodes with Brandon Understall for good reason. He really brought it. He has a ton of wisdom that he brought. So if you haven't listened to show number 7 yet, go back and download it. Listen to it because Brandon really brings the heat. And it was an awesome episode. I had a ton of fun with Brandon. So definitely go do that. But in the beginning of that episode, I challenged everybody to go to the forums, laundromatresource.com/forums, and ask a question and answer a question. And the reason I did that, before I start shaming you, because I'm going to, brace yourself. The reason I asked you to do that is because I genuinely want you to succeed. I want us all to succeed. I want you to find financial freedom with laundromats, if that's something that you want to do. If you own laundromats, I really want to see your business continue to grow and your vision continue to grow. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's why I'm putting out all this information. And I genuinely believe that the best shot we have of doing that is if we do it together and if we help each other along the way. So that's why I challenged you. Go to laundromatresource.com/forums or forum, either one. They go to the same place, and go ask a question and answer a question. And a few of you did that, and kudos to you guys. You guys are my heroes. You guys are all-stars, and I'm pumped about it. In fact, you have a special place in my heart that no one else can occupy. You're in there, you're locked, you're there for good. However, for the rest of you, I know for a fact, I get the numbers. Hundreds of people downloaded the last episode. Hundreds. And we only had a few that went to the forums and asked a question and answered a question. So shame on you. And this week you have a chance at redemption. I don't know. There's still room in my heart and you have a chance to get in there. So go to laundromatresource.com this week /forum. Go in there, ask a question and answer a question. Contribute, be a part of the community, be a part of helping yourself and the other people in the community to achieve success in this business. Because again, I think we're all better together. So let's do it. laundromatresource.com /forum. I'll put a link in the description. I'll put a link on the show notes page, which will be laundromatresource.com /show8. Show 8, all one thing, all one word, no underscores or spaces. laundromatresource.com /show8. There's a link in the description. There'll be links there. Go do it. Ask a question, answer a question in the forums this week. Let's just do this thing together. All right. I'm done shaming you and I still love you. And, you know, sometimes you just need to bring a little tough love. And that's what I was bringing today. So, okay. Enough celebrating, enough anticipating next week's celebration where we get over that 8-episode hump, and enough shaming you. Real quick, I want to highlight a couple of questions that did come up in the forums this week because I think they're good ones. The first one is from Jeffrey, and Jeffrey wants to know whether he should buy new or used equipment to put in his store. Now, I have an opinion on this. I bet a lot of you guys have an opinion on this, but I think a lot of you guys could help Jeffrey sort of sort out some of the pros and cons of this topic, because I think there are pros and cons to both. And I think a lot of you guys can really answer that better even than I can. So go help Jeffrey with that on the forums. Figure out if you should get new or used equipment to put in his store. And the second one that I want to highlight, I actually think is a really, really great question. It's one that I'm not sure that I have a great answer to, but I'm confident that there are people listening to this who really, really could answer this question well. It's from Corey. So go help Corey out, because Corey wants to know how do you determine whether you should buy new equipment to put in your store or not? How do you determine if it's worth it, if the investment is worth it? And I think that's a really great question. And again, I know that some of you guys listening to this can really actually shed some valuable light for Corey and for me and for everybody else on this question. So laundromatresource.com /forum. Go help Corey and Jeffrey out with those questions. Go ask a question, go answer a question. And let's get into this episode. And real quick before we do, quick message.
In today's world, if your laundromat is not online, you're losing business. Customers increasingly decide who to trust with their laundry by the quality of your web presence. But creating a professional logo and website that instills trust in potential customers and can be found on page 1 of Google can be difficult to create on your own and expensive to purchase through a traditional marketing company. As part of our mission to help laundromat owners succeed and find financial freedom through laundromat ownership, we are launching our done-for-you marketing service tailored specifically for laundromats. After ranking number 1 on Google with our own laundromat website and consulting with many others to help them do the same, we guarantee that we can build you a professional website that ranks on page 1 of Google within 6 months. Our joint expertise in the laundry industry and over 15 combined years in website design and online marketing allow us to offer affordable, transparent pricing for a high-quality web presence for your laundromats. You invest so much into providing your customers a quality laundry experience. Don't let anyone miss out on what you have to offer simply because they can't find you online. Let Laundromat Resource Marketing take care of your online presence so you can take care of your customers. Visit laundromatresource.com /getonline today for more information. That's laundromatresource.com /getonline, or click on the link in the description.
All right, let's get into this episode, because today we're going to talk about something that I think is really important. And the reason I think it's important is because I have been getting slammed with coaching calls. laundromatresource.com /coaching if you're interested, from owners who have just been struggling. We're in, right now we're kind of in the middle of this COVID-19 pandemic thing. Hopefully on the tail end of it, because I know a lot of places are starting to open back up more. But a lot of owners have really been struggling. And so I've been talking with a lot of you guys and other owners who, whose businesses are down 30, 40, 50% and are just worried about if their business is even going to survive. And man, I've felt that, and I empathize and I sympathize with those feelings because, my businesses were down too. And I get it. And I just wanted to take this episode to just talk a little bit about it, laundromat owner to laundromat owners, and just have a little pep talk here, because I think that, there's a couple of different ways that you can react to all of this. And the first way is to just kind of turtle up and to protect yourself and just kind of hope, stick your head in the sand and hope everything works out. And that is one way to approach it. And good or bad, I won't say, but it's one way to approach it. And hopefully everything will just be fine and will turn out a-okay. I prefer a little bit more of a proactive approach. And the problem with a proactive approach is you got to know what actions to take in a proactive approach. And it's not really clear cut. Nobody's really ever gone through something like this before. And so it's hard to know exactly what it is that we should do when the economy is just crickets. It's just so slow. But I think we can learn a lot of lessons from this. And I think that there are some things that we can do. So I just wanted to address that a little bit today. Let's get into it. And hopefully you find some value in this. Hopefully you find some, hope in this and some motivation if you're needing that. But hopefully this is just an opportunity for us to all come together right now and just empathize with each other and support each other. Maybe go over to the forums, laundromatresource.com/forums, and chat about it a little bit. Share your ideas about what you've been doing to kind of keep your business afloat and keep things rolling and keep them moving. I think that everybody would benefit from that. So, if you have to go over to the forums this week and ask a question and answer a question, that's a really good one to go. There's a softball. I just lobbed it up for you. Then I don't have to shame you next week. So no more shaming. But hey, let's talk about it over there. But anyways, okay. So let's talk about this proactive approach. What does that mean? And I have three kind of main topics that I think that we can talk about, things that we can continue to do right now or start doing right now that will help our businesses now and in the future. But also I think just taken from lessons that I've learned from, the last couple of months and how things have gone, and maybe ways that I should have been thinking and things I should have been doing anyways before that. So let's talk about that. So the first thing, I think that we can do is double down. And that's really scary. Okay. So when business is down and when things are hard and you're feeling the pressure and your bills are loading up and you're not sure if you can pay them or you're pretty sure you can't pay them and everybody's kind of breathing down your neck. I have been there. I've felt that pressure. It is a horrible feeling. And the last thing that I would want to hear feeling that, and the last thing I want to hear right now feeling that, is somebody to say, hey, you got to double down. But let's talk about that a little bit. And let me tell you what I mean by that. And, go over to the forums and just blast me if you think I'm being unreasonable. But here's three ways that I think you can double down during this downtime right now, or during any time, really. The first way to double down is with your time. Now, I know a lot of us, the reason, and myself included, one of the big reasons that we got into this industry is because laundromats can be a relatively hands-off business, relatively time independent, especially for a business. It doesn't get a whole lot less hands-on than laundromat if that's the way you want to run it. However, during tough times, it requires you to do something different if you want to have different results. So you can either go the way of the economy and just let your business fall the way that the rest of businesses are falling, and just hope that you can hold on long enough to where things rebound and you're still okay. Or you can kind of double down, you can dig deep, and you can double down on your time that you invest in your laundromat, whether that's being at your laundromat or whether that is, investing time in thinking about and planning what you're going to be doing in whatever that might be, spending your time investing in your laundromat. So, that is one way that you can double down. And a lot of us have the time, even if you have a full-time job right now, a lot of us are working from home. Some of us, unfortunately, are on furlough or got laid off. So the time is there for a lot of us. So double down on that time and really go invest it into your laundromat. Invest that time in there. Whether that's, I have things at this laundromat that I'm at right now. I'm recording this from my laundromat, and I have things here like little projects, patch ups and stuff like that I've been meaning to do forever, and I haven't done them. Even though now is the time to double down and to get in here and just polish up this place, make it look new again, make everything shiny and patch up the little dings that are here and there, all that stuff. So double down your time is one thing that you can be doing right now. Get in that laundromat, go figure out ways that you can improve your business to keep customers coming back, but also to set yourself up for when things do rebound and people do start coming back, and they can come back and say, hey, I can tell the owner spent a lot of time here, while I've been in my pajamas, not changing my clothes for 2 months and didn't need to do any laundry. So double down that time. Here's a second way that you can double down, and it's double down your investment. Now, don't freak out. So I know this, one of my laundromats was down like 40% for a while. It's rebounding now. It's not quite back up to where it was pre-COVID-19, but it's coming back. And I know that at the heart of that, when I was down 40% and I was like, oh my gosh, the last thing I wanted to hear is, hey, go spend more money on your laundromat. And I just want to be clear, I'm not necessarily saying the investment has to be a financial investment. It might be a great time for you to put in new machines. It might be a great time for you to have your floors redone. Maybe they're starting to look old and dingy. It might be a great time to put a coat of paint on and freshen things up. It might be a great time to invest in your laundromat in those ways where you're investing money. But there are other ways to invest in your laundromat business that you don't necessarily have to fork out a ton of money for. So for example, if there are things that you could have in your laundromat that could be revenue generating, maybe now's the time to do it. Now we have a free value add checklist that you can download for free. And it has some ideas of ways that you can improve the income of your laundromat. And go get it. In fact, I made a YouTube video about it, and there's a special link that was only for those people who watched that YouTube video, but I'm going to just share it with you here. I'll put a link in the description, just because I think this is so relevant to what we're talking about today. If you own a laundromat, or even if you're thinking about buying one, this is an awesome thing to have, so you can take a look around at these laundromats and see, hey, here's some places where I could actually improve the income and therefore improve the value, the equity in my laundromat. So here's the link from the YouTube video. It's laundromatresource.com/more money. And I'll put links again in the description and on the show notes page, laundromatresource.com/show8. So go download that. That's for free. You don't need to even give an email address for it. You can just download it for free. So go do that. Those are ways that you can invest in your laundromat. And some of them require some monetary investment and some of them don't. So double down on your investment. Your laundromat is an asset that you have. So utilize it to its fullest, to its maximum that you can utilize it. Because you have it already. So why not do that? So that's the second way you can double down. The third way that you can double down is to double down on the value that you're offering your customers. Now, Dave Mins in show 2, I'll put a link if you haven't listened to that one. That episode, Dave he's he's a rock star, and you have to listen to episode 2, show 2, laundromatresource.com/show 2 if you haven't yet. But he talks a lot about value and offering your customers value. And that doesn't mean having the cheapest prices in town. In fact, Dave says that he offers a ton of value, and he's one of the most expensive laundromats in his area. And so that doesn't mean that, but it does mean, hey, make sure you're having conversations with your attendants about the experience your customers have when they walk in their laundromat. Are they greeted with a smile? Are your attendants helping bring in laundry? Are they helping carry laundry out? Is the store spick and span when customers come in? Find ways to add value to customers that make them want to keep coming back. And I think that you'll find the more value you add, the more loyalty you breed, and the more that customers want to support you in what you're doing. I'm recording this at my laundromat. After I closed, it's just when I had time to do it. And I was just talking to a lady that was here finishing up. And she said that the reason that she's here is because her husband met me and he just really wanted to support what I'm doing because he loves what I'm doing in the community. And that is it. When you provide value for the community, they're going to want to support you in what you're doing, even when the economy is slow. So look for ways to double down on the value that you provide the customers. Go the extra mile. Encourage your employees to go the extra mile. Take the next step. Double down on your time, double down on your investment, and double down on the value that you're providing with your laundromat. All right, so that's one kind of category I wanted to hit. There's 2 more, and I know the feeling of feeling so frustrated, of feeling so hopeless, of not knowing what to do. So I'm trying to put some tools in your hands just to kind of get the brain started again, get things moving. And if you need some help there, if you need some inspiration, hopefully you're getting it here. So here's the second thing is, when business is down, think short term. Now, here's a few ways that I think that you can think short term. Number one is you need to look at your expenses. You need to kind of be ruthless. When business is down, it's really hard to do because, again, this is like a community thing that we're building here. If you have employees, they become like family, but you need to, this is a business too, so you need to be ruthless. And here's what I mean by that. You need to look at all your expenses and cut all the expenses that aren't necessary for the short term. It doesn't mean you need to cut them completely forever. But if business is down 40%, you need to look at ways to cut some cost. Sometimes that means cutting hours. Sometimes that means, furloughing people or letting people go temporarily till you can rehire them. Those are difficult decisions, but a lot of times the decision is between doing that or losing the business. And if it's between those two, you need to preserve the business so that you have an opportunity to bring those people back after all of this is over with and things are back to normal. Because if you lose your business, they're going to lose their job anyways, and there's nothing for them to come back to. So sometimes we need to make hard decisions when it comes to employees, when it comes to hours, those kinds of things. But there are other costs that you can cut first. So look at all of those expenses. Maybe you need to cut that cable bill for a little bit and just buy some antennas, HD antennas, and stick them on top of the TV and, watch some PBS for a while or whatever. There's things that you can do. So look at all your expenses, figure out what's not absolutely necessary, cut those costs, and then don't be afraid to make hard decisions when you're thinking short term. And a second thing when you're thinking short term is look for needs that you can meet. And here's what I mean by that. There are different needs that you can meet for the customers that are coming in or for your customers when they do come in. So look for other opportunities to meet different needs that they have. Maybe they need, alterations, or maybe they need just snacks, and having different snack varieties there for them to, munch on while they're there. And you can make a little bit of revenue back that way. So look for whatever needs you can find and look for ways to meet those needs, because it's when you meet needs that you're creating value. And when you create value, that is when customers will trade that value for money. And that's what we're trying to do here. So look for ways to meet needs and to create value that way in the short term. And it might be things that you continue on once things recover, but it might not be. It might be things that are just for this time right now. So be creative there and look for ways to meet needs. Okay, so number one, double down your time, your investment, and your value. Number two, think short term and, cut those costs wherever you can and meet needs. So number three, the third kind of category of things that you can be doing while business is down is think long term. Now, this is the hard one because long-term things don't necessarily contribute right now. They're not the things that are going to keep your business afloat right now necessarily. However, we have an opportunity right now to take a look at our businesses while everybody's kind of suffering together. Take a look at our businesses and think, okay, this is not going to be like this forever. So when things come back, when business is back, how can I set myself up to be ahead of everyone else? What are the things that I can be doing right now to be ahead of the game and to be able to shoot out of that gate, at lightning speed? And I think that question is a huge question. And it's one that we don't often have a lot of time to just kind of stop the whirlwind of all the things that need to be done to run our business and to try to recoup money that we're losing and get out from under the stress and just think long-term a little bit. But I think that the dividends that pays right now will be huge for you, huge for your business. So take that time. Let's talk a little bit about some ways to do that. Now, one question that you can ask yourself is, what is my community going to look like? The community my laundromat's in, what's it going to look like in 1 year from now, or in 5 years from now, or in 10 years from now? How are things going to change? What are the implications of the way things are now versus the way things are going to be then? And how can I kind of try to get ahead of that? Now, those are tough questions to ask and tough questions to answer because nobody obviously has a crystal ball. But those are the kinds of questions that you can be asking. Now, here's another one. What's the laundromat industry going to be like 5 years from now, 10 years from now? I've kind of talked a little bit about how I think laundromats are moving more and more towards a pickup and delivery, service kind of model, a fluff and fold. Obviously, those things have been going for a long time, but I think that pickup and delivery in particular is going to continue to grow more and more and more every year. So maybe you're thinking long-term, okay, how can I begin to implement this? Maybe I'm not launching a full-on pickup and delivery service, but maybe I can go get a couple of clients and do that. Or maybe I can just start laying groundwork for that, whatever that might look like. Maybe that's, adding a payment system that's easy to use for attendants to do laundry, maybe a card system on even just a few machines or whatever that might look like, laying the groundwork for that. Another question you can ask is, how can I get in front of more people? And how can I get my business and my laundromat in front of more people right now? And so maybe that is, hey, I don't have a website for my laundromat. If that's you, you have got to go to laundromatresource.com/get online and, get online. You have to be online. You need to have a website. You need to have a Google My Business account. You need to be on Google Maps, Apple Maps. You need to have that presence. So if you don't have that, let us help you do it. We do it for our businesses. We've helped a lot of other people do it for their businesses. My laundromat website ranks number 1 on Google, and it's on, Google Maps, on Apple Maps, all that stuff. So we know what we're doing. We know marketing. We know laundromats. So we can help you out there. But maybe you already have a web presence and your website, but now's a good time to really refresh that and really take a look at that and say, okay, well, it's just been sitting there. How can I be a little more proactive about driving people to that website so that they know that I'm there? So maybe you need to start making some YouTube videos and getting out there. Maybe you need to, up your Instagram game or your Facebook game or, whatever the case may be. But how can you lay that groundwork where you can start getting in front of more people? So that, that's another question that you can ask. Another question to ask is, how can I reinforce customer loyalty right now? Are there things that you can be doing right now to just really make your current customers be like, I can't believe they did that during that time. I know it had to have been hard for them, during that time, and yet they still thought of me in this way. What can you do to reinforce customer loyalty? So those are just a few ideas I wanted to go over. I don't want to talk your ear off forever. I've already been talking for way too long. And I appreciate you listening this long. Hopefully you found something valuable in that. But hey, you know what? I know times are tough right now, but let's just pull together. Let's help each other out. Let's help each other through this time. And let's be a little proactive right now too. I know I'm doing that with my businesses, and I encourage you, keep doing that with your businesses also. So let's just keep on trucking, but let's keep doing it in a smart way where we're being proactive and we're looking for ways to improve our businesses even now, even when it's tough, even when business is down. All right. Thank you guys. I am so pumped that we are here doing this thing together. I love every second of it. And make sure that you're subscribed, because believe me, the next few weeks of episodes will blow your mind. You will get tons and tons of value. I promise I'm not going to talk at you for any amount of time, hardly at all. I'm going to let these other guys do all the talking because they have got some incredible things going on and some incredible things to share with you. So we will see you next Tuesday for the 9th episode celebration. It's going to be a party, so be there. We'll see you next week. Peace.